Welcome to the Oswego Alumni Podcast. I'm your host, Dee Perkins. Today's guest made the most of her time while she was at Oswego. She was very active in student association, rising from the ranks of Director of Communications all the way up to the SA President during her senior year. She was also President of the Auxiliary Services Board. And my personal favorite, she was an intern for the Comm Department's Media Summit. She graduated in 2010 with a BA in Broadcasting and Mass Communications and began a career at one company that began when she was a student and continues today. Please welcome 2010's Chrissy Kreber.
Hello, everybody.
Let's
Thank
start with
you.
the company that you spent your entire adult life working for. I can't believe this because my dad came out of the Navy, and at 18 years old, he started working for the AAA, and he worked there until he was 80 years old. So I remember telling people this is, something that does not happen anymore. And for you, it is happening. And so we tease people enough. The name of the company is, for 21 years, they've been named to Forbes 100 Best Companies to Work For, many times being in the top 10. They're also named to Forbes America's Best Employers, and anyone who lives in upstate New York knows who I'm talking about. You work for Wegmans.
I do, and I absolutely love every minute.
When I was researching the awards that they've received, my other favorite is they were recognized in 2024 at the World Cheese Awards. Did you know that?
Absolutely. For our professors, 1916. Yes.
So, what do you attribute you've worked your whole life at one company? What do you think is the reason for that?
I really believe at the start of any career for Wegmans, whether you're 15 years old, whether it's a secondary career, it is all about family and driving development at any age. And I was so fortunate to have a really well-established team around me see something in me and say, you know what, Chrissy has a future with Wegmans. And it just transcended from there. I've been very fortunate to have so many opportunities, Oswego kind of tying into that. Being a student, I received the scholarship. So with that, that's 4 years of a scholarship from Wegmans that always tied me back going to work for the summers or for holiday breaks. And no matter what, whether I was gone for 3 months or 4 months, I came back to the same team, sometimes new faces, but always with open arms. How are you doing? How is your development at school? Are you looking to progress with Wegmans post school? And there was always a pulse on my school career and where I wanted to go with Wegmans. So they've always just had a hold in terms of family, and we grow together. So it's been beautiful since I was 15 till now.
So you're in Rochester right now, but that's not where you started. That's not your home base. Where's home? Well, where was
Home,
home when you were younger?
sure, it's Buffalo, New York. So I grew up in Hamburg at the McKinley store, Buffalo Bills Nation, which is beautiful. And after a few years, I became an intern with Wegmans in addition to being an intern with Oswego at the Media Summit. And they actually moved me out to New Jersey. So I got a full-fledged business experience out in a new state, living on my own, and driving a new market, which was really new to Wegmans. And it drove me to New Jersey for 10 years after that, once I graduated Oswego. And just 5 years ago now, 6 years ago, actually, I moved back to Rochester to start my family.
Did you always, while you were in New Jersey, get those emails from Wegmans saying there's a job available here? Did you always have your eye about coming back to Central New York?
I had one goal, and that was to start a family. And I always wanted to be close to my family. I grew up in a very close knit fam. So we've been fortunate to have many cousins, aunts, and uncles. And I really wanted that for my son, just to be immersed in it. So my sister is here with her daughter, my niece Lucy, who is my son Jack's best friend. So it really just felt like that was the right decision for me. And Wegmans is great because it's one big family. So although they're segmented into many markets, we're one. So I was blessed to have the opportunity to come back and work in another market within the same position.
So you're growing up in Buffalo, you're working at Wegmans. What drew you to Oswego?
That is a very interesting story, actually. I was really looking at Johnson and Wales at one point for culinary. I had fallen in love with just culinary arts, and I took this true passion, and something in me said, Chrissy, you have always enjoyed public speaking. You have always enjoyed sports, play by play, things of that nature. And something clicked to just say, look at Oswego. One of my friends was going there who ended up being my roommate, Sam. So I took a tour and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with every aspect that the broadcasting department had to offer and would soon absolutely love the mass communication in total, and just the department overall. So it was really on a whim and just the excitement of being a little closer to home that made me fall in love with it. And I'm so glad that I did that.
So I started out our conversation by saying you were an extracurricular girl, just like me. I loved being involved in things, other things than just taking classes. What drew you to the Student Association?
I had been involved in my student government in high school, and I was trying to find a connection to not only like just the broadcasting groups like WTOP and things of that nature, but really how I can make a difference in the student community. And one of Wegmans' values is making a difference, as well as empowerment. And I always felt this close piece to my heart to say, what can I be doing better, or how could I apply myself to really make this experience for every student as good as it has been for me? And I found Josh Miller. He lived in my dorm. He was very immersed in the student association at the time. And he brought me in. He pulled me in and said, look at the senator community, look at how you can change the way your hall operates and things of that nature. And the rest is history. I just started developing myself through different positions with Josh and his guidance. And I was so fortunate to do so. I gained so many beautiful experiences from it.
All right, what hall was that? Let's give him a shout out.
Scales Hall, the
Gals Hall.
original, the
Yeah,
original.
living on the lake, baby.
Yes.
Yes, isn't that
Snowdrifts.
yes, isn't that one of the dorms where we talk about getting blown into Lake Ontario when the weather's like this?
We had a snowdrift, and I wish I had the picture. It was 9 feet tall, and it like was cascading the building. That was the year we got 11 feet in 2 nights. And Al Roker came out and did his whole weather segment out in Oswego. We were locked in our hall for like 3 days.
Wow. They are dealing
Yeah.
with that right now. I have a friend whose son is there, and he just sent us a video of how bad it is. We're recording this on February 18th, and we've had nothing but snow for the last 3 days, and they are measuring it in feet up there.
Oh,
So, yeah, hopefully they have the ropes up between lakeside dorms.
honestly, there were all these rumors. I remember even just going there. If you were under a certain weight, you couldn't go to class. I don't know if that ever was really real,
That's
but it
great.
was windy. It was bad. We walked literally hand in hand. So
Did you also get involved in the radio station or the TV station?
I did. I did a lot of radio at the time. I did hockey, women's hockey, not so much men's hockey. That was more for like the junior, senior class or folks that were a little more established in the broadcasting world. And I did play by play in color for hockey games for women's hockey. I didn't ever have a radio show. I had intended on focusing on that, but once I was immersed more in the student association, I really just took that path and tried to find some avenues to help heighten awareness for student engagement across the board.
So once you graduated, Did you go back to the home store at Wegmans immediately, or did you think maybe I'm going to look into broadcasting or communications?
The really cool piece about Wegmans is there's always a plan for those who are really committed to it. And because I had spent my last summer before my senior year in New Jersey, I was actually offered a management trainee program with Wegmans out in New Jersey. And there were some options out there to work for some sales companies and, options as it related to more of like the multimedia. But there was also a freeze on a lot of employment during that time. So I felt like the stars aligned for a reason. And I went and worked for Wegmans in New Jersey. And ultimately, I really didn't want to leave. I loved Wegmans. While Wegmans' core values helped to shape me as a leader with Oswego, and I wanted to be able to continue that in New Jersey. So I took the management trainee position and started that in 2010.
So, a Bills girl living in Giants Jets territory. How did that work?
It was interesting and so cool because there were pockets of Bills Mafia little bars. So like you would find these random bill backer bars, which was great. So I started dating someone who was a huge Eagles fan, but appreciated my diehard Bills Mafia status. So he converted. So now he's 50-50. Yeah, he is a Bills and an Eagles fan. So that's true love right there. But it was great. Honestly, I just enjoyed preaching. The Bills are the true New York team, play in New York, live in New York. So it was great. And honestly, we were welcomed with open arms at times.
The New York fans can be tough. I looked at the some of the Wegmans that you worked at, and one of them was right on the shore. And
Mhm.
I imagine living in that area with the ocean right there, it might have tugged at you a little bit to stay there. Am I right?
You know what? I don't enjoy a lot of heat. I am not someone that likes to be out in the sun too long. And I grew up on a lake, so I very much appreciate being by water, but I was okay with it. That was our ocean store in Asbury Park, New Jersey. And I was there probably the longest term in my New Jersey time. I was there for 5+ years. So cool if you ever can get down there. Cookman, all those main abs, just really, really chill, fun, exciting. I loved it. I loved it. But my family is so important to me. And that was really what was beaming from Western New York for me to get home.
I have to ask, of course, did Springsteen ever stop by?
He was always on the boardwalk. And we were that close to where, folks would come in and shop and just share that there was a musician he wanted to see on the boardwalk, usually like a drummer or someone that was making a name for themselves over in that area. Never so much in Wegmans. Um, I'm trying to think of any famous folks that came through there. We did have um, just like a couple chefs come through and oh my God, why am I blanking on from Hell's Kitchen?
Oh, yes, the guy who yells,
Gordon Ramsay.
yes, yells at everybody.
Yeah, he came in super nice. Definitely not what he portrays as a character, but great guy. But I wish Bruce, that would be awesome.
So the stop before being store manager, was there actually like a ladder of positions that you had to kind of take before getting to the top?
Yes. So when I started in New Jersey, I was a management trainee. So I was basically training to be what would considered like a department manager. And from there, I began to run front end operations, which like consists of your cashiers, your helping hands team, your front of the house operations. That is not culinary. And after that position, I actually went into human resources, We call those positions employee advocates with Wegmans. I was an employee advocate for 5 years. It was my favorite role aside from the one that I currently hold. I adored every minute of just helping employees to grow in a really influential way, and helping them through many things, benefits, promotional opportunities, things of that nature. From there, I went on to further operations within the store, more so on the culinary side to follow my passion, and proceeded to go into what are considered area management roles. So, overseeing one area of the store. I held a merchandising manager position, which oversees your grocery operations and your non-perishables, and then went on to a perishable area manager. And in that role, you oversee all perishables. So you work with the store leadership team to develop programs, harness employee development, things of that nature. And then I opened multiple stores within that position. So I opened our East Hanover location in New Jersey and our Montvale location. And post Montvale, I was going to open the Brooklyn store in our New York metro area. So I became a store manager in training at that time, where I did a lot of the pre-hiring, and pre-work before I found out I was having my son, and I requested to move back to Rochester or the Buffalo area.
And as soon as that opening came, they said, "All right, you've got it. You've done,
Yes,
yeah, you've done your
bittersweet.
work."
New Jersey was my home for so long, and I loved them to death. And they welcomed us with open arms there and treated us like family. So we were so fortunate to have been there for the time that we were there.
So I keep bringing it back to people find Wegmans to be extraordinarily special.
Mhm.
I've talked to people, I'm one of them who wants to move, and when we move, how far are we from Wegmans? Um, it's something, especially in upstate New York. I think it's so incredibly special. And when people leave upstate New York and a Wegmans isn't nearby, you hear about it all on social media. Oh, how I miss Wegmans. Since you've seen it from the bottom all the way to the top, do you have a take on why customers think it's so special?
I truly believe it's just our genuine care for what they're looking for in their entire experience. I look at even our employees that we've hired that had never heard of Wegmans until marketing started advertising Wegmans is coming to your area and we are also hiring, so please join us. And it took so much for them to believe how much of a family we really are. I remember sitting in orientation, and a young lady that we had hired just looked at me and said, Chrissy, I can't believe that I feel like I've known you for 10 years. And genuinely, that's the presence we want to be able to exude, not only to our employees, but to our customers. So they feel comfortable coming back. They feel comfortable asking questions about menu insights and things that are going to help make great meals easy and healthy and fun, and not feel that they have a wall in front of them or a barrier to not be able to ask that question. But I wholeheartedly feel that it is just the genuine care that we have for them, and knowing that everything is rooted in making sure that they have the best experience.
So you're a store manager now. Take me through a day. What does a store manager do?
I have the best job. I have the best job. I have the best team. I am so fortunate to be 36 years old and working in a job that I can honestly say I love with every ounce of my being. My day is fulfilling the needs of my people in the most beautiful manner. And whether that's through an operational resource or just sitting down and having a cup of coffee to see how I can better their experience, how I can better the community's experience, is what we do. We obviously have operational standards that we follow to make sure our business is running smoothly, but it's all about our people and making sure that they are taken care of in the most personalized way, in the most genuine way, and wholeheartedly inspiring them to be great and to want to one day take on the position that is sitting in front of them. So whether it's a department manager, whether it's a team leader, their general manager, or whether it's myself or a position like mine, our goal is to make them see that one day they can sit in that seat and help them to get there.
Wow. Something you didn't mention that I know Wegmans is very committed to is community. And I found a
Mhm.
story of Van Stanley, who runs People's Choice Kitchen. She had 5 bags of toys around Christmas time. She was going to donate to the kids who were in need. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, she goes out to her car, and all the toys had been stolen out of her car. And she had gone to Wegmans right after that and told some of the people at the store. And I guess it made its way up to you. Before noon, you were on the phone with her and you said, Wegmans is going to replace all the toys. You have nothing to worry about. So I wonder if finding a way to connect with community is also a part of your job.
Oh, it's 100% a part of my job. Like I said, one of our values for Wegmans is making a difference in every community that we serve. And we really strive to do that daily with multiple organizations within our community. Van is such a special person to the 19th ward where my store sits directly in. And her vision, her mission every day is to provide folks meals on a fiscal scale that makes sense for them in that moment. And she is a gift to our community. She shops at our store for all of her ingredients. It's a Caribbean based soul food restaurant. And our team knows her. They adore her, they love her. And it was our team that identified the opportunity to come together and help her in this moment. She services hundreds of children at Christmas to make sure that they have this be- beautiful event where Santa presents them the most wonderful gifts at the holiday time that may not be presented to them in their household. And to hear that those gifts were taken, not in our community, we come together, we rally together, we are one in Rochester. Our team made the decision, Chrissy, let's do this. We're going to get those gifts. So we had a team of three go out to a local store and pick up whatever was left, whatever we could get, ranging in all ages and, all levels of neurodiversity to help us get these toys for these children. They were purchased and wrapped before 3 p.m. and we were able to get them back to Van so that she was able to host her event and the kids within our community were able to have the Christmas that they were looking to have.
That's just an amazing story. You also talk about neurodiversity in that story. And one of the things also that I appreciate for Wegmans is, truth be told, my son now works at Wegmans and he works in the bakery department and he has autism. And what I love about Wegmans is they are always looking for the best place to put people who have different abilities. So it isn't
Mhm.
that because you are part of the neurodivergent community, you're going to be put in this position. It's what are you looking to do? And my son wanted to be in the baking department, and that's where we put him. And it's been an amazing experience. And my son's story isn't the only story. There are stories like that all across the Wegmans here in Syracuse. And I want to get your take on that.
I- Absolutely. We learn so much from our people every single day, no matter what abilities they have. And it's such a blessing to work for a company that sees it just as that and really harnessing someone's strengths and helping those strengths to help their opportunities, which is fabulous. We are always looking to hire the best. That is our main focus. The best doesn't always come with experience. The best comes with a full heart, someone that lives our values every single day, and someone that has a purpose to help inspire others to be just as great as they are. So we're so fortunate to have folks of all levels apply to Wegmans, of all different abilities apply to Wegmans. And it's an honor to be able to learn from each and every one of them.
All right, so let's go to something fun. You talked about having a culinary background and kind of a foodie. What is your favorite item at Wegmans for your own? Like you're gonna eat something. What's your favorite thing?
Oh, this is always the hardest question.
I know it's
All
like
right,
I'm telling you,
I'm gonna have to
all your
break this
children.
down because after 21 years, there are so many answers to this question. My favorite Wegmans brand product right now is our Wegmans ginger seltzer. It is by far the best seltzer that we offer. If you are looking to get off a pop or soda kick, this tastes just like ginger ale. It's so delicious. It's my favorite. My favorite meal from Wegmans. Mm, I've always loved our vegetarian bolognese with the spaghetti squash. It's always been my favorite. I can eat it any time of the year, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It is the most delicious thing ever. And anything that comes in a gold pan now, because it's so simple and easy. And the coconut shrimp in the gold pan and seafood to die for. I literally could give you a list.
Well, I can't let you leave without saying and the bakery department. What's your favorite?
And the bake, oh my God, I can't eat chocolate covered strawberries, the pan brownies. Oh my gosh, I could go on.
They did
Um,
a new brownie this year that had like there was one with candies in it and one with caramel. It was like a crazy brownie and
the
it was
killer brownie.
yes, yes.
That's why it's called the killer brownie. So good. What is your favorite Wegmans item?
Um, this is gonna sound strange, but for a while for 8 years I was vegan, and so you guys do something to your tofu that is so good. It's like
Garlic herb tofu.
yes, it's like addictive. It's almost
Mm,
when I explain to people, it's like a potato chip feeling. Like when I
yes.
eat, yeah, I absolutely love that. And
It's a people who don't even eat tofu love that tofu.
yeah, that is really
It's,
good. And then my son, his favorite thing is anything from the sub department. He gets the chicken Caesar sub, and
oh,
yeah, that is his favorite. Yeah.
that sounds like heaven. Now I'm hungry. Oh my gosh. You can't
Um,
go wrong. You go into any department, you find like 10 things that you have to have in that moment, especially in the bakery.
My favorite part is when you go to pick up your prescription and they're like, it's going to be 10 minutes. Is that okay? Oh, yeah, I can definitely kill 10 minutes here. No problem. And then I come back with like $20 worth of stuff. They're like, did you find everything you need? Um,
Like, just go walk over to the bakery department. You'll be fine. 10 minutes.
yes,
Yes.
exactly. Oh, the breads when Taylor tells me about the different breads and I'm gluten free, so I can't eat them, but they all sound amazing. And I was like, oh, but that would be my favorite if I could eat that one. And the day before Valentine's Day, he spent his entire shift doing the chocolate covered strawberries.
Oh,
So
yes.
strawberry, chocolate, roll it in this, and then on chocolate, strawberry. And he loved it. He loved doing it. That's, his favorite thing is give him a list and he wants to accomplish whatever is on that list.
I love that. And we do have a lot of products now with made with no gluten containing ingredients. So make sure you check those items out.
I see you, new oatmeal cookie. Yes, I
Oh,
do.
yes. Oh.
All right,
And
so
they see us. They're staring.
oh yes, yes, by me, by me. All right, so last two questions. One, so you graduate with a communications and broadcasting degree, and so many of us that graduate with broadcasting degrees don't end up on the air, don't end up in the broadcasting industry. But I always feel like that degree did so much for me to prepare me for the future. Do you agree with that thought?
100%, especially in any role, you're always on stage. And I truly believe that the nature of a broadcasting communications degree sets you up to identify key components of communication, whether it's interpersonal, it's strategy, it's navigating, you know, crisis content, things of that nature. It helps you to be successful in that environment or in that in my case within my working environment. And I've always used Oswego as the reason behind my communication style and my ability to acclimate or identify ways in which we can be better in what we do, how we do it, how we navigate change with our people, and how we communicate it. So I always am so touched by the efforts of Professor Hirsch in my critical thinking course as my communications degree. It always comes back to me that interpersonal savvy in identifying ways to understand folks, how they're communicating, why they're communicating, what they're communicating, and bringing it all together to say, this is the plan and this is the point of execution. So I 100% think any level of communication background is so important to any field or any job market that you will be in.
When they brought me your name, somebody said she's a Laker through and through, and I completely get that from you right now. Why is Oswego so important to you?
Oswego took my college years and made me into the leader I feel I am today. I had so many really monumental leaders in my corner from all realms, the academic realm, the student association realm. And I'll use Mike Pastella as an example. These were not just staff members, these were mentors that helped you to shape yourself in moments of question or uncertainty, or where do I go from here? I'm a college student. I don't have the answer to this. And being able to see what that person was for me helped me to identify what I wanted my leadership style to be for the people that I lead today. And I'm so fortunate to have had folks like Mike who were always in my corner, supporting me, helping me to take that next path with confidence, even if we found out it wasn't the right one, or we decided that, oh my gosh, this was the best decision I made. He was always there supporting me, and he wasn't the only one. And to have a community so strong with that level of engagement and that focus on their students, it has stayed with me thus far.
Aw, I feel that. All right, our last silly question. You kind of answered some of it already, but we're going to do it again. We always end with the Oscars question coming into Oscar season, award season. If you were being awarded an Oscar, who from SUNY Oswego would you like to thank in your acceptance speech? And it could be fellow roommates, people on your floor, or it could be teachers or mentors or your advisor. Go.
Okay, should I be holding my award? Okay.
You go for it.
I want to start off, and I think I really shed light on this. Michael Pastella, I don't know what I would have done without you. The nature of your mentorship uplifted me during the most uncertain times as the president of our student association. And in those moments, I never felt more confident in my ability to lead with lack of confidence, if that makes sense. And I'm so proud to know you. I'm so proud to share this award with you. And I'm so honored to have allowed you to have or allowed your leadership in my life and helped me to become the leader I am today, because it has certainly shaped me into who I am today. So thank you so much.
Oh, anyone else? We're not
Oh,
playing you
yeah.
off. We're not playing you off.
Okay, this is fine. I would also like to Mr. Jerry Condra. He was my advisor and wholeheartedly one of the most kind-hearted souls in this world. Loved his French roast coffee from Wegmans. I will never forget it. I had to send him a box. But he helped me get into the Media Summit as an intern, and it really shaped my life for public relations and people and communications. Professor Hirsch, your interpersonal communication strategies and critical thinking course has helped me to really just understand who I am as a person, as a mom, as a leader. I'm so grateful for you. President Stanley, I know you have since moved on, but bless your heart, you gave me so many opportunities that I am so grateful for until this day. Mike, former president of the Auxiliary Service Board, you were like a dad away from home, and I'm so grateful for you. So if you're watching this, miss you. And Dean Scharfenberger, where would I be without you? You pulled me out of a rut so many times. And again, I don't know where I would be without the leadership that I had in Oswego. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. And I just thank you for all of the lives that you have touched, not just mine, but really the impact that you have bestowed on so many to help them find their greatness.
Wow, that was so great. I love it. Well, thank you for making so much time to chat with us, Chrissy. You can find Chrissy on LinkedIn, and of course, Wegmans can be found at wegmans.com. They're always looking for good people, right?
Always.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes. Employment applications online. And if you'd like to reach out to us with guest ideas, you can find us on Facebook or LinkedIn or email us at alumni@oswego.edu. We're always looking for ideas from our over 95,000 alumni. I'm Dee Perkins, and we'll see you next time on the Oswego Alumni Podcast.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Oswego Alumni Podcast. Please note that the views and opinions shared by our guests are their own and may not reflect those of the Oswego Alumni Association, SUNY Oswego, or its representatives. For guest suggestions, email us at alumni@oswego.edu.